Welcome back, you fucking dirty bitches. This is again, I don't label them. Should label them. Don't label them. Whatever. Anyway, I don't know. It's like our 7th, 8th one. Who knows? We're picking up some traction, though. We got double digits in downloads and double digits in listens on our last podcast. So, make some noise for that. We've been consistently, numbers are going up in the right direction. I haven't really been pushing the advertising button or anything crazy like that because A, I'm not really confident in what we're doing yet. And B, I'm still not really confident in what we're doing yet. We're still working out some kinks. Hopefully getting better content out there each day. So yeah, we're moving along though. We're having a good time. It's definitely been a journey. I've been definitely more aware of picking up things that I can use for content. I hate that word content, to be honest, but hey, that's what it is. It is what it is. You filthy slut. So today we have a couple things we're going to go over. One big topic, one smaller topic, one topic we don't have time for. We did have a special guest book, but he didn't want to come on anymore. Too afraid maybe. It's too hot out here in the streets. You know what I'm saying? But we could talk about that later too. Anyway, first things first. Game 1, Lakers Nuggets last night. In a word, or I guess several words, that's basketball, baby. That's how the game is played at a max level with the best talent you could ask for a Western Conference Finals, I guess. I guess not the best talent that's in the league this year, but that was a fucking shootout. I mean, the Lakers were getting their ass kicked the majority of the game. Jokic was just insane. He almost had 20 points, 20 assists, 20 fucking rebounds. That's asinine. And he looks like a loaf of fucking bread. He looks like a loaf of sourdough bread that's been left out in the sun after being sprayed with water. But that guy, he's graceful out there. It's like chaotic gracefulness. I don't even know how to put it in words what that guy moves like. But he gets from the foul line to the rim in like one step, and everyone's looking the other way somehow. But LeBron, AD, everyone else did their thing. And Lakers ended up losing. They made a comeback. They were down like 20 at one point. They ended up coming back, missing a couple open shots at the end, and then Jokic hits this 3 and the game's over. But that's the kind of basketball you want to see. Now, the game tonight, we got Miami-Boston, Eastern Conference Finals. It's going to be a little bit different, a little more of a shootout, a lunch pail game, something you should definitely not have the kids awake for. So put the kids to bed starting at 8:30 Eastern because it's Lakers. It's not Lakers. It's Heat Celtics, game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. But like I said earlier in my previous podcast, I don't like talking about sports. I'm not an X's and O's guy. It's just exciting to see the NBA coming down to these 4 teams, which all play different styles of basketball. So, that being said, what we're going to dive into today is, if I can pull up the notes, my no ads. Jeffrey Epstein, that freak fuck. So, for those of you that don't know who Jeffrey Epstein is, this dude is a pervert, was a pervert. Hit the wrong sounder there. We're going to get rid of that one. But he was a rich dude, financier, convicted sex offender, known for his high-profile connections. This dude was apparently just fucking underage girls for a couple decades, probably more than that. But we're not going to get too in the weeds in his early career because early life. All you got to know is that this guy was in New York, made friends with the right people, and then had billions of dollars. So we'll just start from there. He's just a rich dude, lived in New York, managed a lot of rich people's money, and became wealthy himself. During that whole time, he was just trafficking women, rape, handsy, creepy, the whole nine. Him and Ghislaine Maxwell, his little associate, she looks like there's death behind those eyes. She was another one she was his, like, I wouldn't say pimp, but groomer. She got these girls, was like, oh, we are looking for young massage therapists and we need you to come over. And The girl's like, oh my God, I'm 13. It's like, oh no, just jerk him off. So there was a lot of that. And he did it for a while. He did it for, no one really knows exactly when, but there's been a couple documentaries on it. Some people say like 25 years he's been doing it. A lot of the witnesses and the victims have been like, yeah, I was 11, 12, around there, and now I'm fucking 35. So do the math on that one. But where it gets interesting is that this guy was friends with all the top names in business, in Hollywood, any kind of powerful connection. He was friends with presidents. So he had Bill Clinton. He was friends with the Clinton family in general. He was friends with Donald Trump, Prince Andrew of the UK. Those guys are all perverts over there, but we can get into that at a different time. Elon Musk, Tom Hanks, for some weird reason. I mean, I can't believe Tom Hanks would ever do that, but I mean, these Hollywood guys, they're perverts, man. They don't want to get their dick sucked by some young tail. Young legal tail is what they should be going for, but they're going for the underage girls, apparently. And there's a flight manifest that has a lot of in and outs coming through. Zuckerberg was over there, which kind of makes sense because he's a fucking robot. And then, I mean, there's hundreds of people supposedly on this list, but the government won't release it in the Ghislaine Maxwell case because it implicates too many people. So right there, you know, like something's up. Like if they're not fucking releasing a list of these people that have been to that island, then what the hell? It's like you're investigating a crime and you're like, well, we got to get background on this person. We got to interview people that have known this guy. Who's known this guy? All these people that have flown to his island. Why'd you go to this guy's island? To fuck women. Like you could see how I'm not a police officer, but at the same time, it doesn't take that long. It takes about 6 questions to get to the bottom of it. And you can go from there. But the government's hiding it, so it makes it even more sketchy. And then the sketchiest part of this whole thing was this pervert did get caught in 2007, indicted for operating a sex trafficking ring in Florida. Witnesses, the whole nine, convicted, everything. However, the prosecutor at the time settled on a deal that put Jeffrey Epstein on work release program for up to 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. So this guy's in jail, right? And let's just say you sleep for 8 hours a day. So right there, you're down to 16 hours out of the day. He was allowed to leave 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. So there's only 4 hours he's actually in jail. And the other 12, he got to go home to conduct business, which was probably just fucking other underage women. So like right there, it's like, wait a minute, this guy is a convicted sex trafficking pervert with underage girls. Like he's been doing it. We know he's been doing it. We have evidence. We have the whole nine. This guy should be put in jail for a while. And they were like, work release. So he was out and about doing it again. Kind of really didn't affect him because after that, he still made a lot more money and he still had connections and he was throwing parties and he's in pictures. You can Google his name. He comes up pictures with everybody. He's at like every big party in like the New York, pretty much any scene, he's there. So this has been one of those conspiracy theories, I guess you could say, that has been going on. This is like one of the original ones. Like this is back when your friend's older brother was like, hey, check out this video. And he's on like E-Baum's World or some crazy shit. And you check out this video with a strobe light playing in the background, and he's high out of his mind, but you don't even know what weed yet. And he's telling you about this guy Epstein, and it's like 1999. And you're just like, hey man, I'm just trying to play fucking Mario Kart with my friend, with your little brother. And he's like, yeah man, you got to look into this stuff. You got to listen to Alex Jones too. He knows it. And you're like, all right, see you later, man, you freak. But that's how far this thing goes back. Like everyone knew it. Everyone knows this guy was up to something. It's like the original, like, how come this guy isn't in jail yet type of person. And then in 2019, he got arrested again for sex trafficking charges. I mean, who would have thought that was going to happen? And not too shortly after that, he was found dead in his prison cell in the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York City. And the official cause of death was ruled a suicide. However, there's a lot going on there that doesn't seem on the up and up. So there's cameras all over this place. Right? Any jail has cameras. There's obviously corrections officers. There's, it's a secure fucking place. They don't want people going in and out. They definitely don't want people coming out. And everything's monitored. It's tracked, the whole nine. So apparently, this guy was about to release all these names because it had to come out eventually. Like, you got arrested. We have this evidence, and evidence, the Freedom of Information Act. You can request this information to be released. It's not classified, So his connections to, this is the conspiracy part of it. It's his connections to the Clinton foundations and the Clintons. Clinton didn't want any of this. The Clinton family didn't want any of this noise. So they deleted him from existence. So they assisted his suicide, apparently, because the guards that were supposed to be watching his cell, and this is a high priority guy. This isn't like a, just run-of-the-mill criminal. Like, this is a well-known white dude, old, gray hair. It's a high-profile case. Like, this is something someone should have eyes on at all times. And anyone that knows anything about prison cells or the prison system, like, they're designed so you can't kill yourself. Like, they don't give you things to kill yourself other than the sheet that he used, apparently, to tie around his neck, and then he just let his feet give out and he choked himself, which is a whole other bag of fucking issues we're going to get into. So the two guards fell asleep. The cameras in the hallway and everything leading into that area went out for the 20 minutes that this happened. And they didn't check on him until well after he was dead. So a lot of things are different there. That just doesn't happen. There's always supposed to be a guard like walking around. And I get it. People slack off on their jobs. Listen to my previous podcast. I gave you fucking 10 ways to slack off at work and not get in trouble. However, I can't see it being a case that this high priority person is undetected. But let's just say that, for example, let's just say that this did happen and the two guards fucking suck and fuck decided to just take the night off. Like, this guy's fine. He's an old white guy. What's he going to do? They sit in their cell. They sit in their little office, their little cup of coffee, and they do nothing all night. They probably take a nap or something weird. The cameras are still there. You know what I mean? Like, there's cameras that are watching this area. So, like, the cameras were just off. So you can't tell if someone came into that area, someone didn't come into the area. If you could see on the camera him trying to commit suicide, nothing. Just, I don't know if these cameras had sound on them or not. I'm assuming they probably did because we spend a lot of money on taxes in New York and it's got to go somewhere. So I assume these cameras probably should have had sound. And even if they didn't, they probably have an angle where they could see something going on in that cell. But the cameras didn't work magically for that 20-minute period. It's like, all right. So now you're telling me that these two guards that are getting paid pretty well, not well like where they're making millions, but decent enough where they can where they actually give a shit about their job, don't do their job that night or that 20-minute window, and then the cameras don't record for that 20 minutes. Like, come on. And this guy's about to release the list of hundreds of names of rich dudes and politicians and businessmen. Like, come on. I wasn't fucking born yesterday. Like, this doesn't make any sense to anybody. So, like, the way it works is, like, the news cycle is so fast that we're just going to forget. Like, that's what they're hoping. Like, eventually we're going to forget about this shit. The problem is Ghislaine Maxwell is still on trial, and she just got convicted of all this stuff, and she has the list. And now they have to release this list, but the government's saying they can't release this list, like I was saying earlier. But some of his connections, like I said earlier, Bill Clinton, the Clinton Foundation, Donald Trump, this is back in like the 90s though, Prince Andrew, all this stuff. So like these are like top of the line people. These aren't just like rich, like college kids or something. And for this to happen, it just throws gas on an already sketchy situation about how he even got out of jail or how he didn't stay in jail in 2007 and he got this weird work release. There's a documentary on Hulu, I think, that kind of goes into like he had connections with people that had connections to the prosecutor in that trial. And they were like, well, he lives in West Palm Beach. It was like the richest area in Florida. Like, we can't convict this guy. Like, he's a, whatever the word, he's what the fuck is the word? Like, he's on the higher, he's like a higher up, you know, upper class, I guess. So now what's happening is that Ghislaine Maxwell, his groomer, pimp, what have you, she just got convicted. So she's going to fucking jail. But this list is it's not being released. So now there's more of this hasn't gone away. So people keep bringing it up. Like, all right, this is all cool and all, but what about this list? And like, you'll see it's staying active. It's slowly losing steam, but it ebbs and flows. So right now we're in the flow part where people are like, yo, let's get this fucking list out. Like, what is stopping it? And what's stopping it is people that have money, people that are in power are like, no, I did go there and I fucked some kids, you know, like we can't be having this shit. And then like they demolished the island. Like they didn't like they searched it, but like, excuse me, but like not really. And then they just like deleted some of this evidence and all this stuff. And like no one else can see it. They're not releasing interviews they did with like the staff that work there. Nothing. Like it's like he's a civilian. It's not like he's a CIA spy, and maybe he is. Maybe that's what they're not telling us. I doubt it, but there's stuff that this guy knew and the connections he had that it's just way too fucking sketchy, and it just doesn't seem like it's ever going to go away. It's one of those things like, no, we know something was up. Like, you can't hide this. Like 9/11, too many moving parts. I don't believe what you want. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot going on there, but whatever. This shit is like, no, this is blatant. Like, we all know it. Anyone with half a brain could know it. The fucking idiot from Tropic Thunder, my head movies. He understands it. He gets it. He's like, yeah, I don't know about what you fucking people are talking about, but I fucking get this. Something's afoot in this situation. So that's where we are. This dude, so to summarize, homeboy made a lot of money in the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Made a lot of friends with a lot of rich people. Was a well-known, like, he hung out with the young crowd, the hot girls. And in the documentaries and stuff, they fucking talk about it. They're like, yeah, this dude was a pervert. He would fucking just take his pants off and be like, yeah, jerk me off, baby. Shit like that. You know, and like, we've all been there, I guess. But, yeah, he was just this rich, high-profile guy. And no one really knew why he was around as much. But now it kind of makes sense. He's feeding these girls, he's feeding these guys a bunch of pussy. So, we'll never really know. Hopefully we do, and hopefully people keep pushing. But I don't think we're ever going to find anything out just because there's too many people involved. Like, too many rich, I'm talking billionaire status people that are implicated. Powerful, like the royal family, the Clintons. Like, if this was medieval times, these are like the kings and like the monarchy is all implicated in this situation. So they control everything. Don't believe what you read on the news. It's all controlled. So we'll never find out. Just the way we never found out who shot Kennedy, who blew up the towers on 9/11, where the fuck COVID came from. It's just stuff we'll never know. But this one we kind of know for sure. Like, this dude was a pervert. A lot of rich people, a lot of big powerful names were involved. So keep your hands to your fucking self, kids. That's all I can tell you. Anyway, moving on. That's going to wrap it up. You know, we dug deep. We can go deeper. You know, there's always room to go deeper. Like I said earlier in the podcast, our guest couldn't make it on tonight. They booked their spot, but maybe they're a child sex trafficker too. I don't know. Maybe they're like, I can't cover that subject, man. I'm one of these people. But yeah, hopefully we get a couple guests on. Booking link. You can find it either on my Substack, my Twitch page. The link is on Twitter as well, my profile. And I'm open to talk about whatever. So don't forget, follow me on all of it. Substack, YouTube, Twitch, the whole nine. And we'll continue to do this. If I had to pick a team for the NBA playoffs, I'm going to go with the Heat. And if I had to pick a team for the NHL playoffs, I'm going with the Panthers. So there's that. And we'll see you guys around.